series of devastating events by two terrorist kidnappers who are members of the FLQ. On October 5th, James Cross was kidnapped. He was part of the British trade.
Oh, money, money, money. Ah!
On October 10th, Pierre Laporte was kidnapped while playing football with his son.
Get it, son. Go, go, go!
Uncle! No!
Why am I being arrested?
For your connection with the FLQ.
Dun, dun, dun.
Laporte was killed.
They will never get away with this. No! Now you are.
Luckily, Cross was released.
We have no more use for you. Get out.
Ah! Yippee! Yippee!
Unfortunately, the kidnappers fled to Cuba.
They will never catch us now.
In 1791, colonial authorities in Britain felt changes should be made to the Quebec Act. And then the Constitutional Act was passed. This act divided Quebec into two colonies, Upper Canada and Lower Canada. Upper Canada was located in what is now called Ontario and are populated by Anglophones. Lower Canada was located in the southern parts of present-day Quebec and was populated by Francophones. Both colonies had their own assemblies, for the act was designed to be fair. Red River Rebellion, 1869 to 1870. On October 11, 1869, the work of a survey was constructed by Métis group, including Riel. On October 16th, this group organized themselves as the Métis National Committee to represent Métis interests. Louis Riel declared that any attempt by McDougall to enter would be blocked unless Canadians had negotiated with the Métis first. After Thomas Scott was executed, Riel was exiled to the U.S.
You are exiled to the U.S.
Ironically, he was elected to the House of Commons 3 times during his exile. He never took his position.
No.
Instead, he came back to Canada in 1885 to lead the Northwest Rebellion, or to 1885. After the Red River Rebellion, many Métis moved from Manitoba to Saskatchewan. However, settlers from Ontario began to arrive in Manitoba, and land began to come. Square concessions of Canada. In 1884, Riel returns to Canada to what is now the province of Saskatchewan. He leads the Métis against the Canadian government.
Bring it on!
He was eventually caught and exiled.
Get him! Go!
The destruction of Métis and Aboriginal forces increased tension between the English Canada and French Canada. Conscription crisis 1914. Britain has declared war. We need to join our forces and help them.
Aye. Volunteer my services to the military.
Your services are much obliged.
No, we should not go into the military. It would just show Britain's power over us.
Military Service Act 1917. The French's lack of participation introduced Canada's military to conscription.
To increase the French's participation in the war, this act was introduced. The Military Service Act made conscription legal in Canada, and with this act, the government and military were able to force the French into becoming troops and allies for the British.
1885. In 1885, the Canadian Railroad was complete. This began many immigrants coming in and more people and access to the West Coast.
Oh, finally
Done.
Creation of Saskatchewan and Alberta, 1905. By 1905, there were enough settlers in the West from the railroad to warrant the creation of Alberta and Saskatchewan.
There are enough people in this western area to create two new provinces.
Thank you, sir. This is greatly appreciated.
These provinces were both located in the West and populated by Algonquins.
Hello.
1987, Meech Lake Accord. Charlottetown Accords, 1992. This accord offered many changes for Quebec. If passed, Quebec would be recognized as a distinct society and have power to protect and preserve French-Canadian culture. However, this accord was rejected by both English and French speakers. English Canadians felt it gave Quebec too much power, and French Canadians felt it didn't give enough. Meech Lake Accords, 1987. Brian Mulroney wanted to give Francophones special group rights through recognition of Quebec as the protector of French society in Canada.
Oui.
Mulroney strived for national recognition between Quebec and the rest of Canada. Mulroney had set up a conference at Meech Lake with the premiers of all 10 provinces who met in 1987 at Meech Lake. The accord would give Quebec much more power, but many Canadians expressed concern.
No, I do not think this is a good idea.
No, I do not think this is a very good idea at all.
In the end, it was not accepted, with some of the strongest oppositions being the First Nations.
Hey, what about our rights?
Okay, should I replay that?
Yeah.